Now time for a new segment that we like to call QB Academy, and me being an old defensive lineman, I don't know anything about quarterbacking, so we brought in a really good one instead. Michael Nebrich, of course, the former standout at Lake Braddock, also at Fordham. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. Looking forward to doing this segment with you guys each and every week.
And of course, a lot of things that you can impart when it comes to quarterbacking because you were a very good quarterback in your day. We talk about it all the time. Michael Nebrich, one of the best guys when it comes to playing quarterback. So many things on your ledger. Michael, you were the 2011 All-Met Player of the Year, also Virginia State Player of the Year at Lake Braddock. Your senior year, you broke the Virginia State record for all-purpose yards, also scored 59 touchdowns. You look at all the things on the screen for you there at Lake Braddock. But, again, you would continue that quarterback after that brief stop at UConn. Then you would end up going to Fordham, where, again, you ended up just breaking up the record books. The two-time Patriot League Offensive Player of the Year, also some All-American honors in there as well. Again, just look at all the stats on the screen, folks. This guy knows a little bit about playing the quarterback position. Very modest, though, when it comes to doing it. Mike, of course, give us some memories on your time both at Fordham and, of course, locally here at Lake Braddock.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, my whole career started at Lake Braddock. I was lucky enough to have some unbelievable coaches and some really unbelievable teammates around me my couple years that I was a starter there. And, you know, it was going through, you know, the ranks, you know, throughout high school and playing all of the Northern Virginia teams. You know, it kind of really prepares you for high school. I mean, the quality of football around here is just so good that, you know, once I got to college, I was actually more prepared than a lot of people coming in. So, you know, a lot of great memories at Lake Braddock. And then once I moved on to UConn when I got recruited out of Lake Braddock, you know, things just didn't really work out there. Ended up transferring over to Fordham University, and again, just filled with a great coaching staff and surrounded by some really great teammates. And you know, my entire career, whether it be Lake Braddock or Fordham, I couldn't have done anything that I did and broke any of the records without my teammates. So it was a fun ride. Definitely, you know, kind of happy it's over. It's some brutal days, but looking forward to kind of getting back into football and talking some quarterbacks.
And of course, you're the young guy that's carrying on the old guy, but it makes me feel good. I'm watching you at a Lake Braddock field getting some grass stains. You know, you're old enough to have played on the grass at Lake Braddock. Well, Michael's going to go ahead and break down some quarterbacks after we take this break, so stay tuned. It's coming up after this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at AllMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob, and you got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at AllMetSports.com. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back into QB Academy. Jeremy Huber here with Michael Nebrich. And Mike, want to start off with our first quarterback we're going to take a look at today, and that's going to be the Gilman transfer, now with St. John's, the Maryland commit, Kasim Hill.
Yeah, Kasim Hill is the number 17 ranked pocket passer by ESPN, and watching this kid's tape, there's a lot of things to like about him. You know, his pocket mechanics are absolutely flawless for a kid who's going to be a rising senior. You know, he's just very poised in the pocket, has great drop back mechanics, has a big arm. Not the best athleticism, but can use his legs to make plays. So, you know, there's a lot of great stuff about this kid, and Maryland definitely got themselves a really good player.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the tape from Kasim Hill from his time at Gilman. Of course, did some very good things there. Hill did, and we see again here's the guy that we're looking at, Kasim Hill. Yeah,
the biggest thing I want to break down again is his pocket mechanics, and I want to go back to the start of the play here. Basically, a lot of young quarterbacks, when they get it in the pocket, they get a little flustered, and they just basically want to use their athleticisms to run around and make a play. Kasim Hill does a great job at staying in the pocket, and if we can go back just a little bit, just to the start of the snap here, he does a great job at recognizing the coverage. He knows that he has one of his wide receivers coming in over top of the linebackers, and he uses just a subtle play fake to hold those guys down, giving his wide receiver enough time to get behind them. and he uses just a subtle step up in the pocket to give himself just enough time to deliver the ball accurately for a touchdown. And a lot of quarterbacks at that age, they feel pressure around them and they try to escape instead of stepping up like he did. So great job for him.
I'm going to go ahead and get you see there, 22 getting wide open, just that split second.
Yeah, it's all it takes is a split second, and he does a great job stepping up in the pocket, giving himself that extra split second to get his wide receiver just enough depth that he needed, and he delivered an absolute perfect throw.
And again, believe more of Kasim Hill here on the screen.
Yeah, so the second clip, basically I wanted to show off his arm strength and also show off his drop back mechanics. If we can go back to just the beginning of the play here, he sees that there's a middle of the field safety and he knows that he has a guy going deep. So he uses the play fake to manipulate that safety, making him come down just a little bit, which gives him enough time for his wide receiver to get over top. Now the big thing again with Kasim is his pocket mechanics. He does a great job at taking his drop back, getting his feet underneath him with that first hitch, delivering the ball accurately down the field, and delivering an absolute strike for a touchdown. A lot of young quarterbacks, when they see a guy that wide open, they rush their footwork and they kind of get on top of their toes and throw it, just a little too hard, and that's a lot of times when you see the overthrows. He does a great job at getting his feet underneath of him and delivering accurate footballs down the field.
I believe another clip of Kasim Hill here.
Yeah, again, just drop back mechanics. So now on this one, it's going to be a rhythm throw, and this is probably one of the hardest things for a young quarterback to do. If we could go right back to the beginning, it's very hard for young quarterbacks to throw the ball on rhythm because their footwork sometimes speeds up a little bit too much. What he does a great job his first couple of steps, getting his hips and his feet lined up. If we could stop it right there. Just roll back just a little bit. Right there, he does a great job his first couple of steps, getting his hips and his feet in the direction that he wants to throw the football. Then he plants his back foot on his third step to get his weight underneath of him, which gives him the ability to then transfer that weight forward, delivering an accurate football. It's very hard for young quarterbacks. What they tend to do is they take that third step and they fling their front hip open, which makes them inaccurate throwing the football. So he's very good at really just his drop back mechanics are just very, very fine-tuned for such a young kid. And that's why you see him as the number 17 prospect on ESPN. So this final film clip with Kasim, I just wanted to show a little bit of his athleticism and what makes him such a playmaker. If you go back to the beginning here, what he wants to do is he wants to do a subtle this play fake that he wants to ride down in quickly, pop up and deliver it over the top right past the linebackers. But he obviously feels the pressure come in and just uses his athleticism. I mean, it's one of the best moves that a quarterback can make, to subtle jab step in and reverse out. And the kid's just an absolute playmaker. You see it all over the film. I was extremely impressed watching his film, and it'll be good to see how he improves this year as a senior, and then taking that skill set into Maryland. He's an exciting player to watch.
Yeah, able to beat the blitzer there, and I'm sure the St. John's fans are really looking forward to seeing some of that from him on the field this year. Another guy of somewhat local import. Of course, he'll be headed off to Virginia this coming year. Lindell Stone of Woodberry Forest threw for nearly 3,500 yards, 39 touchdown passes last year. This is another guy that really can kind of sling the rock.
Yeah, Stone has a big arm, and that was the first thing I noticed when I was watching his film. Is he has a huge arm, and not only can he throw the ball far, but what really impressed me is his touch on those passes. A lot of times with young quarterbacks, when they have those big arms, they don't really know how to take some off on short throws or take some off on the deep throws, giving it just enough touch. And he does it flawlessly. I mean, for a guy with such a strong arm as him, he really does a great job at using the touch to complete different passes, and that's why he was so successful last year. And obviously Virginia is his school of choice, so great choice for him. He's going to be a great pocket passer for them.
And of course, we've had a chance to check him out, and again, I've always been impressed by what he can do.
Yeah, this first clip again, just showing off his arm strength, and this is a close to a 50-yard throw that he absolutely puts on the money, right in the back of the end zone. If we go back to the beginning, just to kind of show his arm strength off. He has such a strong arm, and he uses it so well, delivering the ball down the field. And he has a couple of really, really good wide receivers. One of them is actually going to be going to UVA with him. So he does a great job delivering the ball down the field with some touch. And it's good to see a quarterback like that with such a strong arm actually being able to kind of harness that arm. So again, here, kind of getting away from his arm strength, is showing his smarts as a quarterback. If we can pause it just after his first step, what he sees here is he sees a man-to-man defense and a free safety in the middle of the field. And what he knows is he has a skinny post to the boundary, which is an absolutely great man beater if you can manipulate that safety. So he does an unbelievable job his first couple of steps, and you can see it right here. He's looking to the left. He knows he's going to be throwing to the top of the screen to his right, and he's looking to the left the first 2 steps of his drop, which you see the free safety now has his hips open opposite of where he wants to throw the football. So, I mean, that's textbook manipulation with the eyes from a quarterback. Very rare to see in high school. And then again, once he has that safety in a bad spot, he uses that big arm to drive the ball down the field in a perfect strike. This last clip, just kind of showing off his touch again. He sees cover 0 across the board, man-to-man eyes everywhere. He knows his slot receiver to his right is running a vertical route, but he also knows now we're in the red zone area. There's not a lot of room to work. He can't be throwing the ball 50 yards down the field and just letting his wide receiver run to it. So he speeds up his drop just a little bit. If we could go back to the beginning, he speeds up his drop just a little bit to give himself enough time to set his feet and deliver an accurate football. And, you know, again, a guy with such a big arm throwing a touch vertical like this and fading his wide receiver out away from the defender is an extremely hard throw. I mean, you see some college quarterbacks not being able to make this throw consistently, and throws like this are all over this kid's tape. So, very good player, great arm, great touch on the ball, and a lot of really good smarts for a kid his age.
Yeah, we grew up in Texas, ended up at Woodberry Forest, but has done some really good things there for the Tigers over the last few years. The last guy we're going to take a look at today, Michael, is Stephen Williams out of Wilson, the old Dominion commit. Again, has had such a good run over the last few years as leading Wilson just to the cusp of the D.C. public school title. Of course, one of the big reasons why Stephen Williams, what he's been able to do.
Yeah, Stephen Williams is a playmaker, and watching his film, he's the definition of a gunslinger in my mind. He's a lefty quarterback who isn't afraid to throw the ball into any window that he sees. And, you know, kind of just like Stone, he does a really good job with his eyes. And I think that that's what makes him so successful is being a gunslinger. Sometimes you see, you know, they obviously throw the ball around the yard. They're not afraid to throw it in, but they don't use their eyes as well. And that's where you see a lot of the interceptions happen. With him, he uses his eyes extremely well to manipulate defenders, move them into different spots that he wants, and then is very accurate with the football and driving the ball down the field, not afraid to throw it in between the hashes, which is a big thing as well. So this first clip, again, just talking about coverage manipulation. He sees everybody above, within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, man-to-man eyes, go back just a little bit there. You can see just a subtle twist. He knows he has a hitch on his outside guy, a vertical from the slot receiver. So he knows he has to make sure that cornerback stays down and doesn't drop off. So he does an excellent job at creating just a subtle twist with his shoulders, which you can see here. Takes his drop, subtle twist, which makes that cornerback fall down to attack the wide receiver, which gives his slot receiver just enough time to get open, and also gives him a lot of space towards the sideline to work without that cornerback falling off and being over top. So, I mean, it's just textbook example of how he manipulates the coverage. Here, I just want to talk about slightly his footwork. Obviously, the biggest thing with a quarterback is their footwork in the pocket. And as we saw with Kasim, his rhythm throw, this is an excellent job by Stephen here of utilizing that rhythm throw, knowing what the coverage is. He sees man-to-man eyes. He sees a safety in the middle of the field, knows it's cover 1. He has a comeback from his boundary receiver. Great. I mean, it doesn't get any better of a man-beater route than that. So he uses his drop-back skills, uses his footwork. If we go just to the top of his route, of the top of the drop, I want to show you the anticipation that he uses. Right before he throws the football, he makes an unbelievable anticipation throw here. He throws this football, if we could stop right there, just a little bit forward, right there. He's ready to throw the football. 5 yards before the receiver is even going to make his break. I mean, this is high-level quarterback play. Most young quarterbacks, they want to see their receiver wide open. That's just how it works. That's what your eyes see. That's when you throw the football. For him, this is a rhythm throw. Again, he has to, set his feet perfectly. He gets his feet set and delivers the football 5 yards before his receiver is even making his break. Not only that, delivers a perfect strike to the outside where only his receiver can get it. So, I mean, this kid really knows how to throw the football. He has unbelievable athleticism as well and can use his legs. So, very dangerous threat for Wilson. And that's why he's been so successful.
Yeah, obviously he's done some really good things, and here's another one.
Yeah, this clip is just kind of showing off his gunslinger ability here. One of the hardest routes to throw for a young quarterback is down the seams. He sees he has a cover 3 shell here, knows he has a middle of the field safety. And if we can go just to the first couple of steps of his drop, I want to show you something that Stone did as well. He knows he has to manipulate that middle of the field safety. So the first couple of steps of his drop here, he's going to be looking in the opposite direction, up the field towards the top of the screen, manipulating that safety just enough. Now he flips his head over right at the top of his route, and he knows he has just enough room to fit that football in there. I mean, this is a high-level throw right down the seam, in between the defender and the safety. An extremely high-level throw that a lot of college quarterbacks can't make. And this is something that you see over and over on his film, which is why, you know, I kind of think he has that gunslinger mentality of throwing it down the hashes, just not afraid to put the ball in tight windows. And that was one of the most impressive things for me watching this kid's film.
And that, again, against a Woodson team that features some pretty high-level guys in the secondary, some D1 talent, so not against some schmoes, some really good players he's able to do those things against. Mm-hmm. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, folks, you can see QB Academy every week at DMVSTREAM.COM.